Hit
Okay,
record.
you let me know. So whenever you want me to start, just look at me weird.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. You're like, that's your cue.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
This is
So
only my
my
second.
name is,
Sorry.
okay. Wait a second.
Yeah, I'll just say hi. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
Hi, Jillian. I am doing well. I am doing very well. How are you feeling this morning?
I am feeling great. I'm so glad to have you here. So to start off, do you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
For sure, for sure. So my name is Gabby B or Gabriella, however you want to call me. It is what it is. I don't mind. G Money, G Unit is some of the things that I've been called back in the day. I am a, a fractional COO and a business strategist and consultant. So I come on with female founders and I help them build their team, build their products, their offers, solidify their pricing, and make sure they have the right people sitting in the right seats to do the right jobs as they build and grow their team and their business. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
It's just one tiny nutshell. You do so much more, but
Exactly.
yes,
Exactly. In layman's terms.
yes. So I know you really value networking to grow your business. That's one of the main ways you help people grow their business. So why is networking important?
Yes. Okay. So the one of the main reasons why networking is important to me and to so many others inside my community is because most of us didn't have access to the same networks that others that are wealthier and have generational wealth. And I have friends that used to be able to be connected to CEOs and different individuals, and they didn't value that because they always had that. And as I was growing our studio and as I was growing my business, I really took the importance of networking to a whole other level, ensuring that we always knew who we could use for something before we needed them. So I don't enjoy networking just to network. I enjoy strategic networking so that as my business grows, so does my network, and it encompasses and holds the same value. Because I think if you don't network as you're growing, you have this same base and you no longer have people that can support you as you're growing. And I don't think that's fair.
Yes, exactly. You need support in your business because it can get very lonely being an entrepreneur, sitting in your
Yes,
office talking to
exactly.
yourself. Yes.
Yes, recording podcasts, right? Like,
Yes.
be like,
Oh.
hello, I hear someone else's voice. Yay.
So how can networking help a podcaster?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine the ways that it can't help you, not only through ensuring that, I think the main thing is, though, ensuring that you have a purpose for each person that you network with. So I love networking. Of course, that's strategic and that aligns to goals. So if you have a goal of increasing your listeners or just having really amazing guests on your show, when you network, you should be saying that out loud. You should be sharing those goals with the people that you're networking with and then seeing what kind of opportunities they bring up for you. Because the best networking is a person who already has an idea for you before you even have to finish the sentence of like, hey, John, I know that you have a huge online community. I don't know by any chance if you could feature my podcast this month. And networking in a way where you have an ask. So someone has something they can actually provide value to you with. There are often times that we network, and I'm sure as podcasters, your listeners network, and they're, yeah, I have a podcast. Yeah. You don't really share how someone can help you. And then maybe you walk away and you're like, F them. I don't need them. They won't help me. But what if they could? But what if you just asked, hey, you know what? You seem like you have a lot of value. Would you be able to be on my podcast? The worst thing they're going to say is no. And the best thing that you can do is know that. Because the worst thing that can happen is you have these huge goals. Like, I'd love John to be a guest on my podcast. I'd love for him to feature my podcast in his community. And then when you do go to ask him, he ends up saying no. And you have all these grand thoughts and visions that just can't come to life because it wasn't aligned. So I like to let's hear no more often and then know that that's only going to bring us to the yes, to that person who's supposed to be a guest, that person who's supposed to feature you, and that can help align you with sponsorships or amazing guests that you would have never had access to if you stayed alone, right? Like same theory in your little office. There's only so much that you can do.
Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
And the more you ask, the easier it gets. I know I was scared to ask at
Yes.
first, but it does get easier.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You're like, I might be scared all the time, but that's okay because now at least I ask, even if I'm scared. I think that's a common misconception, is like the fear is going to go away. There are even times where I have questions for people that I almost talk myself out of asking them for no good reason. Like it's almost, I think it's at times when we have to realize like, okay, is this self-sabotage? Like, am I my own worst enemy, or is this logical thinking? And I think most of the time it's self-sabotage, where we're just tearing ourselves down before we can even get a freaking brick on the wall. Like we already got the hammer out to like, no, you're not going to make any progress. It's like, come on, like you can do it. Like you just have to get out of your own way.
Like our mind always goes to the worst case scenario before going to what's the best case scenario.
Yes, yes. Like, what if you go to that networking event and it's everything that you could have thought it was and more? But your mindset walking into it is going to determine the outcome. So if you walk into it thinking, oh my God, no one's going to talk to me, no one's going to give me any respect, no one's going to, find me valuable, don't be afraid that that's what echoes back in your brain, because like through your interactions, because that's literally what you're telling them. Like, I got a little podcast, like this is probably something that they don't know how to do. They don't know how to start one. They don't know how to have one. There's so many people with failed podcasts, with podcasts that are sitting on the back burner that deserve the limelight, but you don't know the example you could set and the inspiration and motivation you could give someone just by sharing about your podcast.
Yes. Oh, I love
You
that.
know, like
Yes.
just share it. I know through our conversations, even through coaching and just in general, it gave me so much insight into, wow, like it's really not all that hard to have just a podcast. But the problem is that people don't want just a podcast. They want a perfectly clean, perfectly edited piece of work, almost from Walt Disney himself, that everyone will listen to. And I don't think that's the mindset you should have, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome. So, what is your favorite thing about networking?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So of course the relationships. If there's anything that I've really learned in this year of business, specifically 2021, during the heat of the pandemic, the ups and downs, is that relationships will bring you more than any Google ad run could. Like that's I feel like I'm going to coin that statement and put it on t-shirts, because the amount of clientele that I've heard in the past, oh, well, I want to do a Facebook ad. I want to do, you're pouring money into the hopes that your message lands. It's on so many different deliverables, but why not dig deeper into your relationships? Why not pour money into the relationship building aspect of your business? So I love networking because it has allowed me to create relationships with individuals that give me, I don't ask for anything from these relationships. I just love receiving and giving. So if they have a referral, that's always amazing. But if they don't have a referral and they just have a question for me, I'm always happy to answer. But it's these level of relationships with individuals that if I would have never met them in my day to day. Like I would have never run into them in a coffee shop and been like, hey, can you give me a referral? Like I wouldn't have known what they did. I wouldn't have known what they needed help with. And networking gave me that opportunity to help, and then also to receive. I think a majority of my business has just come from networking. Like I'm just networking it up. So my favorite part is the relationships, which in turn just give you so much. They like those relationships that just invest back into you in more ways than monetary.
Yes. And, with referrals, I'm more likely to hire somebody based on a referral from somebody than seeing a Facebook ad. So networking definitely.
Yes, I feel like I wish there was a ratio out there, but if I give someone my word that someone is an awesome individual in that genius in what they do, 9 times out of 10, if everything is right, they will get hired. And that's not the same kind of ratio that you're going to get from Google Ads or throwing ads into Instagram. And you're just kind of preying on the analytics to work out in your favor, instead of meeting and being introduced to 10 individuals and having 1, 2, 3 of them say yes to your highest package or your highest service. It's like, to me, it's a no-brainer, but I hope more people can understand how much power there is in relationships.
And especially, I think we learned yesterday with all of social media going down that you can't rely on social media ads to help you build your business.
Exactly. I think there were reports that right now initial findings are that Mark Zuckerberg lost 7 billion, and then an additional 150 million globally, or 150 million or billion. And it's the truth. It is entirely the truth that, to me, yesterday when Facebook and Instagram were down, it was almost a relief. All of my, conversations with clients just moved to email, and I'm in a few different communities that are on Circle, which is where I'm moving my community to, Slack. And it's really showed me that you can't rely on just 2 places for all of your clients, because it's not going to work. Like, it's going to go away one day. Like, things are going to happen. Like, be able to have a community that's outside of the internet world and have one that you can meet in person is really, really important. Exactly. Like we just viewed yesterday.
Yes.
Which was just one day. It was just a few hours. It wasn't even the full day. You know what I mean? Just a few hours. And it impacted so many things. I was thinking in the back of my head, like, how many people were probably going to launch, like how many people were trying to solidify sales, like how many things really were deterred by that downage, or whatever you call that, service error. And I'm like, I don't want that to be me. I would not like that to be me,
Yeah, exactly. Which this leads me perfectly into the next question, what are the best ways to network?
Yes. Okay. So I would look at it, me, I always like to look at everything from a few different lenses. And I would look at a multifaceted approach to networking that's only based on your goals. I want you to think of networking as the opposite of day drinking, okay? Like, you're not going to do it just because everyone else is doing it. If you're going to network, it's going to be because you have a need or you have an ask, and you've already exhausted your current community or your current resources. So the question was my favorite ways to network?
Yes.
Was that what the question was?
The best ways,
right?
Your favorite ways. They can be your favorite ways.
The best ways. Okay.
Yeah.
My brain like was like, okay, the best ways. So one, I always talk about Meetup. I always talk about going on to Meetup, finding some local groups. If not, finding connections through there that you can message. The second ways are just already online communities that are there that you might not know of. So thinking of the kind of individuals that you want to be around, and using Instagram, mainly Instagram, TikTok, to find who those individuals are. Like, who do I need? Who do I want to be around? And how can I be around them more? That's the question that I had for myself as I was getting ready to move my community into Circle and build out my online community. And as I was getting ready to just upgrade things in my life and in my business, where are other people out there that are doing these same things? So I was able to find 2 communities that are doing those things exactly. And now I get to go spend time in there, and I get to go spend time around people that are growing and are doing these things. So if you have a goal, I would network based off that goal. You want a VA, you want, you really know you'll need help with an OBM in the future. You really know that you're going to want to write a book in the future, right? Like, where we have a few connects for you if you do. And like, going to those places, go to the source, like go to the well. Don't just network with a friend and call it networking. Push yourself out of the box. DM some people on Instagram. Hey, like, could I grab a call with you? Get inside of some high level communities where they're doing what you want to be doing, and find out who you can connect with there. That's some of my favorite ways, is just go right to the source if you know you're going to need something in the future. And the second one is use the sources around you that you already know. Like, okay, I already know I can go to Meetup, or I already know that, hey, maybe I can ask Gabby and she knows a few different communities that I might be able to join, or there's probably a plethora of opportunities around you that you're just not digging into. So get your goal together, get a networking call together, and see how it goes from there. Like, see who you're supposed to introduce yourself from there.
Awesome. At least I can edit that out. Okay.
No, it's okay. Why? What?
Oh no, I burped.
Oh my gosh, no, I just before too, I think we started. I didn't even know that was a burp. I thought you were like having a mini like eye problem or something.
Oh
You're
no.
like,
I was like, okay. Anyways, okay.
you're like, carry on.
Yes. Okay. So, how do we first reach out to those people? What if you just feel really awkward and you have no clue what to say? Like, how do you start the conversation?
Okay. This is the key thing to know. And I think we can all relate to something maybe that our parents told us when we were growing up, when we saw an ant or we saw an insect and you're like, oh my God, it's a spider. And your parents are like, it's more afraid of you than you are afraid of it. So if you have this aversion or this issue and confidence issue, self-esteem issue surrounding introducing yourself to others, I would get into some group networking events first where someone can kind of hand hold you through it, can kind of make the introductions on your behalf. That's what I really try to do in a lot of the networking events that I do. Like, I like to try to hold your hand through it and make initial introductions so that you feel like you came to a networking event with a friend instead of feeling like you came alone. So if you can get them more into a group, if you know someone, who can make that personal, professional introduction for you, that's always best. So one, if you're feeling awkward, see if you have a mutual. See if you have someone that can introduce you to them via email, via DM, whatever it might be. And two is realize that what's going to happen if I don't meet them, right? Like what possibilities could they open up for me that I am not allowing myself to receive because I don't feel that I'm worthy? That's something you should probably work on first, is what is it about me that I think that they shouldn't or wouldn't want to talk to me? Why? Like, why don't you have value? Like, why don't you have something that would be absolutely amazing and they would be so lucky to be able to be in your presence? Why? Like, why not? Why can't you have a conversation with Tony Robbins or Oprah? And why wouldn't they be able to find something inspiring about you? Like, we're all humans. Like, we all eat the same. We all sleep the same. And you know what some of the other scenarios are? We all do the same things. Some of us just have better routines and habits, but at the end of the day, we are all the same. We're all equal. So if you're feeling awkward, realize that it's probably a sign of something that's going on internally or a past story that you have about yourself that it's time for you to shed. Because no, you're not awkward. Or if you are, dive all the way into it. Say that on the voice memo. Oh my gosh, I know this must sound so weird. That's what I did all the time in the beginning. When I first started my mastermind, I was kind of prepping for who I wanted to be, speakers and stuff in there last year. And I was in random people's DMs like, hey, this is going to sound so weird, but would you ever want to network with me? Like, I just would love to talk with you about things. And there's some people who are like, that's not weird at all. I would love to talk to you. Like, that's everything. And then there are people who won't respond to you. Don't take any of it personally. Like, if you're feeling awkward, either address where it's coming from or dive all the way deep and embrace it and realize that it's probably not going to go away because it's probably just a part of life. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes.
Like, we're all awkward people around here. We are all awkward. Like, we are all weird. That's what makes us unique. Either dive into it or just address it and unpack the story you got going on in that head of yours. You know?
Yes. I love when people do that, when they reach out and they just come out with all their awkwardness. It's just so much more relatable and makes me want to talk to them more.
Exactly. Like, this perfect polished image is not what everyone wants to see. And I I say not what everyone, because I will be honest, and I have come across people who do want a perfect polished image of you, and that alerts you to let you know, hey, wait, I don't think we have the same values. If you need me to look perfect every single day and you need my Instagram to look perfect, that's simply not me. And I don't think we, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're gonna like a lot of the stuff that I say then, because it's based off of being imperfect and just diving into all of your imperfectness, because it's all perfect at the end of the day. Whoops, surprise. But it is the truth, like you're saying. Go ahead and do that awkward voice memo. The worst thing they're gonna do is not respond. And that's okay. That doesn't mean they don't like you. That doesn't mean that you're weird or you're icky or they don't want to be your friend. Just means that, hey, maybe it wasn't aligned at that point in time. And it's probably does you better good than it hurts, you know?
Yes, exactly. I remember being on a call with you and you made me voice memo somebody I had been wanting to, and it was so awkward, but she came back to me. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you.
Exactly. Like you are someone that someone else is looking up to. Like you can't escape it. Like you are a finished product of what someone else is dying to do. So you feeling like you need to be anything more than who you are is like a slap in the face to yourself, because you've worked so hard to get here. So now you're telling yourself that you need to be more. Like, damn, are you serious? Like, you're just not happy with where you are currently? Just say that then. Like, just be upfront. Like, growth is growth, and sorry, it's gonna take a long time. And that's fine, because guess what? It took a long time for other people too, and that's okay.
Yes, it doesn't happen overnight. It'd be nice.
Not like the freebies tell you, okay?
Yes, I know. Yes. So what has networking done for your business? How has it grown your business?
Oh my gosh. I was talking with a friend yesterday who I worked with in the beginning of my business, which my business hasn't been open for decades and decades. It's been open for over a year and a half. And the amount of growth that I realize that I have had in this year and a half, but more importantly, the person that I have become. I was getting emotional in the car the other day. Like, I'm literally not well because I talk to myself in the car and I have conversations with myself. And I was like, wow, I can't believe how far I've come. But all of that is thanks to networking and thanks to people that other people threw my way that said yes to my higher prices. I used to charge to work with me in 2020, in March, April, May of 2020, to work with me 4 times a month for like 90-minute calls was like $75. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There's a reason why I have stances on pricing and all that, because I've worked through it myself. I didn't take a course, get a certification, and just now I'm going to teach you. I like, not only with my background in accounting and economics and small business, but I was there too. Like, that wasn't all that long ago that I charged nothing for my services because I didn't, and I wasn't pitching the right people. And it's still an ever-changing process, but with networking, it allows me to try it out on new people. And even now, I'm really excited about the networking that I'm starting to do now, because it's really some high-level networking with individuals that are already opening doors for my clients. I joined a group, Hey Mama Co., just for an example, a real life example. This isn't like a fake example. So I joined Hey Mama Co. And if you know me, anywhere that I can, I am throwing my clients' names down, past clients' names down, anyone that I know. And someone was like, hey, I'm looking for a social media manager. Like, looking for someone to help me with social media. So I commented on it, a few of my clients and friends' names. And one of my clients was seen by someone else. A random person looked at that post, saw one of my clients, now books a high 3-figure deal with her. And then that same day referred someone else to her. That's going to push her into, just off of these 2 contracts, already making easily 4 figures on top of the other contracts that she already has. So it's things like that where it's like, what has networking done? It's literally solidified my business and allowed me to practice my pitch over and over and over again, and then meet people who are like, I think you do more. Like, I think that you do more than you say you're doing. Like, I think that this is what your name is. Like, I think that this is what you do. But it's not until I networked with those high level people, because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know. And now I'm going to go network with that and see what deals I can land there and see what opportunities I can open there. But if I didn't network, I would probably still be in the same place as I was last year, which wasn't fun. It really, really wasn't fun having people say no to you when you were $75 a month for 4 one-on-one sessions. That doesn't feel good. Like, it actually feels really horrible. And I had to completely detach myself from whatever results I'm going to get and just know that I am worthy. And I'm excited to where network's going to bring me. If it's brought me this far, I'm excited to see where it will bring me in another year and a half.
Yeah, we're so in our business that sometimes we can't see outside of it. So we need that outside viewpoint to help us.
Exactly. And for the longest time, I never was around any business coaches. So it was easy for me to call myself a business coach because based on what I've seen, that was what I was doing. And it wasn't until that I was started to surround myself with people that were consultants and strategists and fractional COOs that I said, well, I'm not doing what business coaches do. I'm helping these individuals build their business legitimately with them together, creating strategies. And that's not what a business coach does. Like, I need to call myself what I truly am. And I had started to really detach myself from the name of business coach. I would introduce myself to people and I would always say that I'm a business consultant and a strategist, because it's simply what I do. I provide strategy, I provide planning and execution and implementation. And doors that I want to open in the future wouldn't have been opened if I wasn't calling myself the right thing. It's just as simple as that. Like, I wouldn't have had some of the opportunities that I'll be having if I continue to call myself something that I'm not, because it wouldn't have made sense. They wouldn't have wanted to hire me because that's not what they needed. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get that support and
Thank
that
you.
new outlook. So
Yes.
tell us how we can connect with you. How can my listeners connect more with you? And I know you have some fun stuff in the works, which I'm super excited about.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I'm currently finishing building out the Next Generation Network, which is going to be hosted on Circle. I value networking so much and I value community so much that this is just the perfect integration of community and networking offers, making sure that we're productive, making sure that we're staying in our genius and on task, hiring when we need to hire, firing when we need to fire. So that community is going to be launching at the tail end of this month. And I also have, I always aim to do 1 or 2 open public facing workshops a month. I used to do that in the past, so I'll be implementing that again now. And you can find me at noplanbconsulting.com. I just moved over from coaching to consulting. And on Instagram, of course, at no plan B consulting. And yeah, I always aim to, if you're in the New Jersey and the tri-state area, I have networking events that I do or co-host on at least once a month, sometimes once every 2 months, but it's emphasized. My office is always open if anyone ever wants to come for a visit. But yeah, those are the ways that you can reach out to me. I'm always available. I love answering DMs. I love answering emails. I love just answering any questions that I can. Any way that I can give value is just my favorite kind of thing.
Yes. And I love you. You are amazing.
Aw,
and I'm going to get to New Jersey.
Joanne.
Yeah, I'm going to get to New Jersey. It's only 3 hours from me. I'm going to get there.
Can you please, I have a networking event that I'm co-hosting with a large company over here but it's going to be on November 6th. So I don't know if you're open on November 6th, but I will send you an invite if you are.
Yes, send me one. I will
Okay.
see.
You're like, I will check my calendar. I know it's pretty soon. But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. I would love to have you here in New Jersey whenever I can. And the same thing goes for you. Like, let me know whenever your next networking event is. Maybe I can go and like make a little day of it.
Oh, yes. Awesome.
I'll get to 3 hours there,
Yes.
3 hours
I
here.
know. Not too bad.
Same thing, right? Not too
Yes.
bad at all. Exactly.
No. Well, thank you for being on the podcast today. It was
Of
amazing talking to
course.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am honored.
You know.